Good morning, students. Welcome to B.Sc-I second semester online zoology class. So today I am going to discuss on integument structure in Reptilia. So the integument is thick and dry. It prevents any loss of water. It has almost no glands. This is an adaptation to prevent evaporation of water. See, here the integument is thick in reptilians. Reptilians are well adapted to terrestrial mode of life. Since they are living on land, they are in danger of scarcity of water. So in order to conserve water in their body, their integument is thicker. So they have thicker integument. The integument is thick and dry. It prevents any loss of water. It has almost no glands. The integument has no glands here. This is an adaptation to prevent evaporation of water. It is an adaptation. So reptilians are the best adapted for terrestrial life. Amphibians are not best adapted for terrestrial life. Terrestrial life, they are adapting, but not yet completely adapted. But the reptilians are best adapted for terrestrial life. Therefore, their integument is thick and dry. The epidermis has a well-developed stratum corneum. So here, this is the epidermis. Outermost layer, this layer is stratum corneum. Outermost layer of the epidermis is called stratum corneum. And the lowermost layer of the epidermis is called stratum malphizi or stratum germinativum. This is stratum germinativum. Clear? So stratum corneum is best developed here in reptilians, which makes the skin dry and prevents any loss of body moisture, thus well adapted to terrestrial life. The epidermis produces horny scales. These are horny scales. Can you see here? These are horny scales. Horny scales. Scales are shed periodically in fragments or cast in a single slough, as in snakes and some lizards. You must have seen the ecdysis of skin in snakes. Snakes shed their external layer of the skin in a single sheet. Okay. Lizards also shed their external skin, not entirely. Okay. Next, the scales often form spines or crests. The scales that are present in the reptilians often form either spines or crest. So you must have seen the calotis back. In the calotis back, the scales are spines. Okay. Below the epidermal scales are dermal bony plates. Below the epidermal scales, dermal plates are present in tortoises, crocodiles, and some lizards. These are retained for life and are not shed off. The dermal plates are not shed off. Only the scales are shed off, not the dermal plates. These may form dermal bones in the skull lying superficially, or they may be found in the dermis. So this entire part is epidermis, and from here to here dermis. Okay, the dermal plates are present in the dermis. Here in this place, the dermis is present. Dermal plates in tortoises and the turtles. Next, the dermis is thick and has an upper loose connective tissue layer and a lower layer tella subjunctiva, and separating the two is a horizontal layer of fibrous connective tissue. Look here, this is the dermis. Dermis has two parts here. You can see here. This upper part of the dermis is loose. It is loose, not compact. Here, this lower part is compact. This is compact part. In between these two, the fibrous connective tissue is there. Fibrous connective tissue. Okay. And this is the loose connective tissue. Loose connective tissue. And whereas this one is tella subjunctiva. Okay. So the dermis is divided or differentiated into two zones. Loose connective tissue zone and dense connective tissue zone. In between these two, the fibrous connective tissue is present. Okay. Then the upper layer has an abundance of chromatophores in snakes and lizards like fishes and amphibians. See the upper part, this upper part, loose connective tissue has chromatophores. Chromatophores are there. So which impart color to the skin. Leather of high commercial value is made from the skin of lizards, snakes and crocodiles. So skin, leather of high value, commercial value is made from the skin of lizards, snakes and crocodiles. Next, many lizards and snakes have elaborate color patterns. Many lizards, snakes especially, snakes have different color patterns for concealment or as warning colors. For concealment, for concealing themselves from their enemies, they have different colors. Green snakes would be there. Green snakes are usually present among the leaves of plants. Okay, so for their concealment, and some are having warning colors also. Okay, there is marked color change in certain lizards. For example, chameleon. Chameleon. Chameleon, the color may change with the environment for concealment. If they are present among the leaves, their body is green in color. If they are present on the tree trunk, their body color is dark. So for their concealment, for protecting themselves from their enemies, they develop different color. For protecting themselves, for hiding themselves from their enemies. Or it may change in courtship or threat. During a courtship means behavior exhibited by the animals during a breeding season is called courtship. Or threat, during threat, sometimes animals may be in danger of their enemies, so such conditions are called threat. In calotes, the chromatophores have no nerve fibers. In calotes, what is calotes? Calotes is garden lizard. The chromatophores have no nerve fibers. They are controlled by hormones of the posterior lobe of pituitary gland. So pituitary gland has two lobes, anterior and posterior. The hormones of posterior lobe has effect on change in color of the skin. In chameleon, chromatophores are controlled by the autonomic nervous system. In chameleon, chromatophores are controlled by the autonomic nervous system. how the autonomic nervous system functions. It is not directly, you know, connected to their desire. Automatically, the color changes because of the controlling mechanism of autonomic nervous system. Next, reptiles essentially lack skin glands. Yes, skin glands are lacking here. In case of fishes and amphibians, we observed the presence of skin glands, cutaneous glands, mucous glands and poison glands. Mucous glands secrete mucus so that the skin surface becomes sticky, gelatinous, slippery. But here in lizards, there are no skin glands. Many lizards have glands near the cloaca. Many lizards have glands at their or near their cloaca. Their openings called femoral or preanal pores are generally smaller in female and found only in the male in some species. They are absent in females, found only in males. They are most active in the breeding season, during the breeding season. So when they want to meet their mates, these glands are active. Musk glands in the throat and cloacal opening of crocodilians function during courtship. Generation glands found recently are associated with periodic shedding of the skin. Periodic shedding of the skin is called molting. That molting is associated with some glands. Okay, so that's about the structure of integument in reptilians. Next, coming to talk about the structure of integument in Aves. Integument of Aves. So Aves, bird's integument would be like this. Here also epidermis is there. From here to here, epidermis. So stratum corneum, and this is stratum germinativum or Malpighian layer. Below this, dermis is there. Dermis. This is spongy layer of dermis, and this is compact layer of dermis. In between these two, or in the compact layer, fat cells are present. More fat cells are present. So these are feathers. Feathers originate from dermal papilla of permanent feather. Involuntary muscles are there. Blood vessels. These are blood vessels. Okay. Let us discuss the points concerned to structure of integument of Aves. So the integument of Aves is thin, loose, dry and devoid of glands, except a urophysial gland at the base of the tail, whose secreted oil is used for preening the feathers. So in birds, sweat glands are lacking, oil glands are also lacking, except only one, preening in the urophysial gland. So this urophysial gland secretes oil. That oil is used for preening the feathers, especially in the aquatic birds. Aquatic birds. See, aquatic birds have to, live in water. The water should not wet the feathers. Therefore, the feathers are preened by the oil secreted by urophysial gland. The stratified epidermis is delicate. Stratified epidermis is delicate except on shanks and feet, where it is thick and forms epidermal scales. On shanks and feet, the epidermis is thicker. There it forms epidermal scales. Scales are seen here in birds. The claws, spurs and horny sheaths of beaks are also the modifications of stratum corneum, corneum of epidermis. So at certain places the stratum corneum is thicker and it is used for making the different parts of the birds. Claws and beaks are variously modified in birds according to habitat. The rest of the body has protective covering of epidermal feathers which are evolved from epidermal scales. From epidermal scales, feathers are developed. Feathers protect and insulate the body. Yes, feathers are used for protection of the body as well as insulating the body. Insulation, it prevents loss of water, heat from the body. So you know it very well. The birds are homeotherms, warm-blooded. They have to keep their body temperature stable. Therefore, uh, these feathers are used for maintaining their body temperature. The dermis is thin and has interlacing connective tissue fibers, abundant muscle fibers for moving feathers. For moving feathers, abundant muscle fibers are there. Blood vessels and nerves are also present. The dermis forms an upper vascular spongy layer and lower compact layer. So here spongy layer, upper layer of the dermis is spongy layer and lower layer is compact layer. Compact layer. The dermis is also contains fat cells. Yes, I told you these are fat cells. Can you see? These are fat cells, rounded cells. They are, uh, richly stocked with fat. So the skin has no chromatophores. Pigment found in melanocytes migrates into feathers and scales. Color patterns of birds are vivid. You know, birds are beautifully colored, and that color comes from their feathers. They are for concealment, recognition, and sexual stimulation. In peacock, male is having feathers. These feathers are having beautiful color. That color is to attract their mates. The colors are mainly produced by reflection and refraction of light from surface of feathers. So this is about the integument in Aves. So at the end of this class, I will give you a few assignments. The first question is write the importance of scales in reptiles. How scales are important in reptiles. Then the second one is write the functions of feathers in birds. What are the functions of the feathers? What for birds have feathers? So that you have to write and send it to me. Thank you.